So what happens? First of all, chemistry. When you first meet, there is a massive influx of chemistry into your system. And people kind of underestimate what that means. They think, oh, chemistry, chemistry. But it changes everything about you. It's such a massive impact. They're really powerful drugs, more powerful than any A-class drugs. You are having sex on really powerful drugs for months. They're performance boosting drugs. They change everything about how your system works, how much sex you can have and how spontaneously it happens, how easily you get turned on, how everything feels. Plus, there is all that novelty and excitement about a new person, exploration, which also psychologically really boosts those drugs even more. So this changes everything. It changes completely your sexual technique. You don't need a lot of technique. Everything happens by itself. That energy throws you into sex. You don't really need a technique for arousal a lot of the time. You can come as many times as you want without being depleted. You can have really intense, passionate sex, and it's not draining or tiring for you because of those drugs. And people get used to it, and people think, well, this is how sex is supposed to be. And then later, why is sex not how it is supposed to be? Because people interpret this initial chemistry as your baseline, but it is not your baseline. If you have ever experienced that, you know that your life was nothing like normal in that phase. So this is actually a spike off the baseline. And this is not your normal state of your system. So this state of your system can't last for very long. Nature has designed it to be temporary. For some people, it lasts for a few months. For other people, maybe a bit longer, a year or two. But this so-called honeymoon period is going to end. And basically what that means is that, you're still together, you're still into each other, but your resources, your chemistry, your physiology comes back to normal. So you just have a different way your body works, how you respond to sexual stimulation, the energy you have for sex. So that changes, your resources change. It basically means that the way sex used to work is not going to work now because you used to do it on very powerful drugs, which really changed how sex works. And now without those drugs, you have to do something different in sex to make it work. Now look, there is nothing you can do to prevent these changes. No couple in the world can prevent these changes. This is the way things have been designed, and this is how we are as human beings. This is the path that we follow. This is the evolution that we follow. You cannot prevent life changes. Don't believe anybody who's telling you lies that you can just keep things exactly the same as they were in the beginning if you just make enough effort, if you keep things interesting and fun. Things cannot be like they are in the beginning. They will always be like they are now. You will go forward. You will never go back. If you keep having sex later in a relationship in the same way as you were having it in the beginning, it simply will not work for you because it was meant to be for that energy and for that chemistry, and it simply will not deliver what you want now. You will find at this point that this technique from before doesn't work very well. It doesn't engage your body very well. It's quite an ineffective and poor technique, really, because you didn't need a good technique before you were high on drugs. So now you don't have a technique to really engage the body, to really arouse it well, to create really good quality of sexual energy. You will find that the technique from before is really draining. It wipes you out because it was meant to shed a lot of sexual energy, and now you're using it in a much kind of lower state of physiology and chemistry, and it's actually having a depleting effect. And you need something the opposite that actually nourishes you, regenerates you, revitalizes you, and this technique is not working at all. You will find that the previous technique from sex is really heavy on your system, really heavy on your physiology. It takes a lot of working up, takes a lot of resources, a lot of effort from your system, again, because you had that before on drugs. And now sex is just really difficult. It feels really heavy. If it doesn't take a lot of time, then it takes a lot of kind of body energy and effort. But what is true is that you don't need to accept and resign some kind of a decline. You can go with the changes. You can change with the changes. You can change your sexual practice to adapt to these changes and to work even better for the next phase of your sex life, to give you an even greater experience, to embrace completely that you're experiencing a new phase of your sex life. But I want you to really understand and really summarize what is happening here. This is a major transformation. It's a 180 degrees turnaround. When you first meet, you have all that energy bursting out of you. It is throwing you into sex. You don't have to do anything. You just follow in on instinct. You don't ask yourself why. You just really want it, and it's all happening. It's all really easy. You don't need to do much, and you have lots and lots of energy for it. Now, this is not driven by just an impulse and instinct and loss of energy. Now you decide to have sex. You decide to continue your sex life because it is important to you, because it is valuable to you, because it makes you feel good. It is an important part of your relationship. But now it doesn't drive you. It doesn't throw you into sex. You create it. You create the experience that is good for you. This is such a major turnaround. You have to understand this.